Good afternoon. I'm Mike Hennessy, Washington Academy Board of Trustee President, and I'd like to welcome you to Washington Academy's 24th Annual Trustee Tea Award Ceremony. In the past, these events were held on Sunday afternoons on the old Academy lawn with community members, WA alumni, and friends and family members of the honorees. This year, circumstances are a bit different. It happens to be my first trustee tea as board president and the first virtual ceremony in the history of the event. It represents the time that we find ourselves in today, finding new and safe ways to continue on timeless traditions in the midst of a pandemic. Although we are not together today in person, we are still pleased to celebrate the extraordinary accomplishments of the distinguished educator and the exceptional contributions to our community made by local business. The Trustee Tea Award Ceremony was established in 1998 when Washington Academy recognized the need to applaud and commend those who are making a difference in people's lives. Who better to do this than a school that sees change happen every day in the interaction between educators and students and between communities and individuals that serve them. Our first award recipients were the late Molly Bean and William Talbot. Throughout the years, we have added a total of 48 individuals to that distinguished roster, which is listed at the end of this recording. Today, we will add numbers 49 and 50. 2020 is a year that continually reinforces the necessity of community strength and commitment to service. Today we're honoring Machias Savings Bank with the Distinguished Community Service Award and the late Malcolm Holmes with the Distinguished Educator Award. At this time, it is my pleasure to welcome Washington Academy Head of School, Mr. Judson McBride, to honor the late Washington Academy educator, Mr. Malcolm Holmes, as the 2020 Washington Academy Board of Trustees Distinguished Educator.
Thank you, Mike. Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know, I'm Judson McBride, Head of School at Washington Academy. As someone who's worked alongside many exceptional educators over my 25 years at WA, today I have the honor of remembering and recognizing the talented and dedicated Washington Academy teacher, Mr. Malcolm Holmes, as a recipient of the 2020 Washington Academy Board of Trustees Distinguished Educator Award. Communities are fortunate to have special people who positively impact lives of people living there. Mr. Malcolm Holmes was one of those special people. He was a 1976 graduate of Washington Academy, a member of the U.S. Air Force, and a graduate of the University of Maine at Machias, and later Lesley University in Cambridge, Mass., where he received his master's degree in environmental science education. Malcolm taught science at Washington Academy for over 14 years. He educated and mentored hundreds of young people and was an amazing colleague and friend to all of us. This recent school year has been difficult, mourning his loss and later facing the challenges of a national pandemic, a time when Malcolm would have been doing what he did best, ensuring the well-being and safety of others. We have a strong held belief at WA that students learn best when they can make connections with a caring adult in school. Mr. Holmes epitomized this belief, and he put it into action every single day. He reached out and made connections with students in his class, his advisor group, and in any activity he was involved in. In between classes, you would not see him sitting behind his desk, but out in the hall, connecting with every student that walked by, encouraging them, checking in on them, and at times even teasing them. He demonstrated the same care and compassion with his colleagues. It was not unusual for Malcolm to stop in to see me and just say, "How you doing, boss? Everything okay?" I definitely miss that. There's this kind of care that Malcolm also exhibited as a teacher. He was always striving to improve education and opportunities available to our youth. He shared his passion for the outdoors and our coastal community by creating a marine biology program at Washington Academy that inspired many students to follow in his career path. Malcolm research work and relationship with the Down East Institute on Beals Island provided many WA field trip opportunities and first-hand exposure to state-of-the-art marine research facility. Marine biology continues to be a popular WA class and fills to capacity with those students curious about the ocean in our own backyard. Even Malcolm's favorite buffalo plaid shirt, symbolic of an outdoor enthusiast, has now become a wardrobe staple for many WA students and faculty members. Malcolm also introduced advanced placement physics, which has opened doors to many exciting opportunities for WA students. In 2016, he led the efforts to reestablish the WA Student Council and served as the group's advisor, which included taking council members on trips around the state to meet with with other high school student council members who were learning to be effective leaders. In addition to his classroom responsibilities, Malcolm was the advisor to the popular after-school science club. One of Malcolm's important messages to club members was to take care of the earth and minimize the damaging effects of single-use plastics to our oceans. Not only did Malcolm care about maintaining a healthy global environment, he also cared about creating a healthy environment for our community, particularly through his support of the recovery community in our area. He was also instrumental in developing a student intervention program at Washington Academy. He cared about the health and well-being of our students and worried about the health of our community that would ultimately ensure their future success. I'd like to close by saying how humble Malcolm would have been to receive this award. In Malcolm's eyes, his work was never done. Now it is up to countless young people he connected with to carry on his legacy or remember him as a distinguished educator he was. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Catherine Holmes, who will be accepting Malcolm's award.
Thank you, Judd. I know Malcolm would want me to thank you for this acknowledgement for what he simply loved to do. And then he'd want me to express our gratitude to the whole WA community for teaching us what it feels like to be loved and supported and held up by this community. Thank you, Washington Academy, for being the space where Malcolm could shine and feel so much joy in his role as teacher and mentor and a forever student of learning. Thank you, and we love you all. Now I'd like to introduce his daughter, Brittany Holmes.
I'm honored to have been asked to speak on behalf of my father, Malcolm Holmes, to accept the Teacher of the Year award. He would have been so pleased to be receiving this award. Teaching meant so much to him. He loved science and had so much fun teaching the science and outdoor-based classes alongside of one of his best friends, Mr. Springers. He loved each and every student at Washington Academy and thoroughly enjoyed helping and watching them improve and pursue their own dreams for their lives. The staff at Washington Academy were so supportive of my father during every step of his teaching career. He too loved and cared for them and their families. Everyone that knows Dad knows that he always showed up, did his very best, and worked hard to remain as healthy as he was. When he became sick this year, it was very difficult for him to not be there for his WA family. The amount of support that everyone showed him and the rest of our family was incredible, and he was so grateful for that. I'd like to say thank you to Washington Academy as a whole for nominating my dad, Malcolm.
I would now like to introduce Mr. Ed Hennessy, who will honor our second award recipient, Machias Savings Bank. Ed has worked at Machias Savings Bank for 44 years and recently retired from the board after 6 years. Half a century invested in ensuring exceptional banking in our community.
Thank you, Mike. It's an honor to be here, and while I am a proud Bulldog, I suspect our friendly rivalry, especially as kids, simply raised the bar for all of us. More importantly, we are all proud and committed members of this community. And with a son as president of the board and grandchildren on the way to WA, you just from time to time may spot me in the crowd wearing something maroon. With this year's Washington Academy Board of Trustees Distinguished Service Award, Machias Savings Bank is being honored for its service to its extended community, support for our community during the unprecedented pandemic, and an ongoing commitment to the heart of a region, both downtown and beyond. We are living in an unprecedented time with unprecedented needs and no playbook. While pivoting to successfully address its community's financial needs, Machias Savings Bank has always found a way to service communities far beyond banking. Today is no exception. While the current pandemic we find ourselves in was unforeseen, it took tremendous Machias Savings Bank vision, agility, and commitment to not just take care of our own employees and their own businesses, but to rise to the level of action for our communities so effectively that they were setting the bar and the example for hundreds of other companies across the country. From $300,000 to support nonprofits and businesses to swift and reassuring communication and direction to volunteering, Machias Savings Bank did not miss a beat. Machias Savings has always been a community service leader for over 150 years. Theirs is a commitment to our community. And when I say our community, I'm referring to the extended Machias community in Washington County. It is far too much to mention, but I'd like to share some of the highlights. Machias Savings hosts numerous financial fitness workshops and partners with Jobs for Maine graduates. It's an enormous supporter of area youth athletics. Machias Savings offers internships for students and many others. It employs and provides careers to high school and college graduates alike, invests in our small businesses and our seasonal businesses, and it supports the community giving tree and countless Washington County nonprofits with unmatched dollars and hours. In fact, Machias Savings Bank has invested over $1 million in Washington County over the last 5 years. $1 million. And despite the incredible uncertainty we face today, they forged forward with a multi-million-dollar investment in Machias, the new operations center. Now that's commitment to a community. In closing, we as Washington Academy and we as this rich and treasured community are beyond fortunate to have an anchor, a partner, and a leader in Machias Savings Bank. Having retired from the bank and the board as an outsider, I've watched the bank continue its storied tradition of unwavering community commitment. It is with great pride that I present Machias Savings Bank with Washington Academy's 2020 Distinguished Service Award. We are deeply grateful.
At this time, I would like to introduce Machias Savings Bank President, Mr. Larry Barker, who is accepting the 2020 Washington Academy Board of Trustees Distinguished Service Award.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Mike, Judd, the board, and everyone else at WA. We are truly honored. Over 150 years ago, Machias Savings Bank actually started as a community service. 228 years ago, Washington Academy started also as a community service. It is indeed remarkable how far both of these organizations have come and how many tens of thousands of lives have been impacted directly and indirectly over that time. The fact that this award is coming from an organization 77 years our senior is rightly noted. Commitment to community is arguably Machias Savings Bank's most deeply rooted tenet. Volunteerism, financial giving, and education are all pillars of that mission. In fact, this past year alone, our employees gave over 12,000 hours of volunteer service statewide, with an unheard of 100% workforce participation in that effort. We often say we are an army of community change agents that just happens to be powered by a bank. MSB has been a friend of WA for over a century. Its graduates are local business owners and business builders, teachers, and corporate employees. For MSB, WA has served as an exceptional pool of talent for both graduates and those returning with another degree. And should be noted that at this moment, 47 Raiders are part of the Machias Savings Bank team. That's over 16% of our workforce. At Machias Savings Bank, our unwavering vision is to move Maine forward, one person, one business, and one community at a time. We will always start and finish with this community. On behalf of the 290 Machias Savings Bank employees, we are humbled and honored to accept this Distinguished Service Award. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Again, on behalf of the trustees of Washington Academy, I would like to thank the late Malcolm Holmes and Machias Savings Bank for this service. Throughout this virtual ceremony, we have celebrated the significance of commitment and longevity to education and community, which is synonymous with the mission of Washington Academy. A timeless charge transcending more than 2 centuries to provide young people with the knowledge and skills that will last them a lifetime. On behalf of the trustees, thank you for joining us in celebration of these life accomplishments.